This is Entrepreneurial Minds, episode number 18. Dun, dun, dun. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Boo!
Boom! What's going on, world's entrepreneurial minds? We back with another great episode for you today. It's your boy King Gotha on the air,
and your boy Gary. Here we are with another episode. I say Gary the Ruler.
I thought you was Gary the Ruler.
I'm not like that. Just sounds like odd. Like, you know, I'm Gary Alfred the second. I'm gonna say the second too. That's me. Just like Marcus Y. Roger.
Oh my God.
Whatever. It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. Like, Gary the Ruler makes it sound like I'm a rapper. Like I'm about to bust out some bars or something, man.
Got a big old slick Rick chain on.
Yeah. Man. But we here with another episode. We got Tamika Quinn on the mics with us today.
Yeah. Okay.
She is a busy woman.
I thought we were busy. I thought we were busy.
Uh-huh.
And like always, like before, we got to say thank you to all our previous guests. Thank you to all our guests who came out to speak and whatnot. Thank you to all our loyal listeners for commenting, for sharing, for liking, for checking us out on Facebook Live, for checking us out everything that we do and following our movement, man. We appreciate y'all because we do this for y'all. We're here to serve the entrepreneurial community. We're here to serve people, let y'all know what's going on in the world and better everybody we come in contact with. So,
most definitely. Most definitely. Oh, hold on. I want to give a special shout out to Burt Bergen.
Yes.
From wearblackbiz.com.
Yes.
Y'all definitely got to check him out. See, Tamika know too. That guy supports.
He's a supporter.
He supports like crazy. I mean, this guy posts stuff for us and everything like crazy. He shares the episodes of the podcast and stuff like crazy. Since we've met him, our listener base has grown.
We appreciate you, brother.
So we definitely appreciate him, man. And if you guys are looking for black businesses anywhere in the country, of course he's based here in Hampton Roads, but he's definitely expanding, and you can sure enough join from anywhere.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
Go to
wearblackbiz. Spell it out for him.
.com. Are you gonna put me on the spot?
Yeah, I know you can spell it.
Hold on, I'm about to pull it up, man. I'm about to pull it up because is it just regular spell?
Yeah, WHERBLACKBIZ.com.
Okay, I didn't think he.
Please check him out.
All the way out.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right, yeah. Either way, he spelled it up for y'all. Go ahead, go check him out, man. Sign y'all businesses up and everything. He's doing big things out here.
Hey, Bert, you got the first promo ad, man. You the man.
Yeah, Shona did for the free.
For the free.
It's gonna be here on the web, on the interweb forever.
Forever, ever.
See, we like Tamika already. She's doing right in the front.
It's about to be a beast show, so y'all better stick it out, man. So, Gary, get the ball rolling, Gary, man.
All right, it's on me. So, Tamika, of course, we want to welcome you onto the show, and we're going to turn things over to you to tell everybody who you are, about yourself, and what it is that you do.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Thank you so much. My name is Tamika Quinn. I am a mom, first and foremost. I am an entrepreneur, and so I have multiple businesses, Pink Carpet Glam Girl, Fat Girl to Glam Girl, as well as I'm a franchise owner with Total Life Changes. Mostly what I do is I talk about, how my life has been changed, and I've turned my life around because of surviving 2 strokes. And so I speak on that platform from a stroke survivor and just helping people get healthy.
Okay. Getting healthy is a very important thing in our community. A lot of people, we talked about this the other day, a lot of people will ignore, matter of fact, we talked about it on Keith's episode, a lot of people will ignore the fact that their health is in dire straits, and they'll just say, well, I cross that bridge when I get to it, but you might not be able to cross that bridge when it comes. if you don't address those issues now. So,
and plus, as entrepreneurs, man, every successful entrepreneur always tell you they take care of themselves. So if you're just starting out and stuff, ain't no way in the world you're going to be able to do all these things that busy entrepreneurs doing to run all these businesses that Tamika is running and doing right now, and you're all fat and don't got no energy. It don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think that for us, especially our people, we have been reactive for far too long, and we need to change the mindset and have a shift in being proactive. And if we are thinking from a proactive standpoint, we are going to make sure that our bodies are healthy versus waiting till we're sick and trying to come back from that sickness or that ailment. Why not be in a healthy state from the beginning? And what that means as far as from a parent standpoint is you teach your children healthy eating habits from day one. So I'm blessed to be in the position to give back to parents and primarily women, mothers, to help them. You know, if we know better, we ought to do better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And you know, now viewers over here love the kids, so. Yeah.
Got a plug, of course. Got a plug.
Well, I wouldn't be the me if I did. Thought they called me king.
All right, so know what? No, you're going to drop the question this week, man. Go ahead. Let me see if we get it right.
That's okay. That's fine. So, Tamika Quinn, we ask all our guests to get the show started. What do you think it means to have an entrepreneurial mind?
Wow.
Early.
Wow.
Early.
To have an entrepreneurial mind, that's powerful. I mean, if you think about it, we have gone through public school, formal education. You're talking about like 14,000 hours of conditioning to have a job mindset. So to have an entrepreneurial mind means to be totally the opposite of what we've been conditioned to be and how to think. And so an entrepreneur means to, in my mind anyway, means to make something of your own, to own something, harness whatever it is that is within you, make that into something that is viable for you to sustain a lifestyle and to cultivate that and to maximize it to its capacity. So I just believe that having an entrepreneurial mind means to not depend on anyone else to work for and to provide a living for your family, but to reach inside of yourself and pull out what God has placed in you to become successful.
What, Tamika, hold on. Pick up your phone. I know you just dropped in that. See, after saying I know you had to drop the phone and just walk away. So want you to hold on, because that was good. I like that. That was the point.
So
okay.
The fact that you measured out 14,000 hours of school to get a job and you got to recondition your brain, that's powerful right there all in itself.
I like that. That was the first time. That was the first time someone said something like that, though. The fact that the entrepreneurial minds means that you are able to do the complete opposite of what you have been conditioned of. I like that.
Yes, the complete opposite. And you know how I know this to be true? I talk to my children. I'm talking about, I can't even say every day. I'm talking about all the time. My kids are in school, and I'm texting them, what are your teachers saying to you? What do you get? Because I'm not homeschooling them. You know, they're going to these institutions that we are not running. And, you know, I want to always make sure that I'm not telling my children what to think, but I'm teaching them how to think. And so when I get the feedback of what they're being programmed, it is interesting. It is amazing that it's like, what? So I know that it is the total opposite of an entrepreneurial mind. It is truly to condition them to become employees in a society that does not want them to win. And so an entrepreneurial mind is the complete opposite of what they're being conditioned.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Wow.
The school system is designed to make, many terms you can use. Drones, slaves, robots.
Hello.
That is what
we ain't gonna talk about the prison pipeline, man.
No, we ain't even talk about that yet.
We didn't get there yet, right? But yeah, I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. So you said you fat girl to glam girl. You know, were you entrepreneurial during your fat days before you came to glam side?
Yes, I was. That was not the beginning of my entrepreneurial side, but just to give you kind of background, fat girl was what I considered myself when I had the strokes. Glam, doesn't mean what most people think, on the outside, a glamorous look. Glam means giving life and motivation. And so going from that unhealthy state when I was fat and when I had high blood pressure and when I was sweating profusely for no reason at any given time, when I was out of breath walking up the stairs in my home, I, had to run to the bathroom because I really couldn't hold my urine for long. There were so many different things that contributed to my fat. And then to go to a stage of being a glam girl, to give life and motivation to others, it is huge for me because I didn't just make that transition by myself. I felt like, I had help, and I'm going to give back in a way that's going to change other people's lives.
And of course, when you find your purpose, your true purpose, is when you would truly start to find success.
Yes.
And it took you going through a lot to be able to do so. I mean, so I'm curious as far as going through the strokes. Well, no, let's go before that. You said you were entrepreneurial before that. So let's see, what were you doing before your first stroke? Because you said you had two.
Sure. I think I was very similar to a lot of other people. It was nothing really special. I went into the military after high school, and after the military, I got into the workforce and was just in a regular job in corporate America. And I started doing something that for me was a hobby. But let me tell y'all something how God works. It was a hobby just literally, I started baking cakes. I love to cook. And it was like I would bake cakes for my neighbors. I started baking cakes for my coworkers. I decorated a cake one time, and I thought, wow, I literally looked at that picture, and I got a measuring cup, and I made the shape of a Barbie doll's dress, and I made my baby a birthday cake that looked like I could have bought it from a bakery. Let me look into seeing who has classes where I can learn how to decorate. And it was never initially to make money. It was just so that I could get some more skills and make better cakes for my children. Well, my coworkers started wanting cakes for their children, and before you knew it, here I am working a good job. I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, and so when I got out of the military, I worked for a company called LifeNet, which is an organ and tissue donation company. Huge corporation. And I was a quality assurance coordinator. To everyone in my family, I had landed the good job. And so here I am with the good job. Husband, we were the youngest people in our family to have bought our first home. Children doing well. And now I have this hobby that's starting to take on a life of itself. And I remember getting my first contract for a nightclub to do their birthday party cakes. And I'm thinking, this is really growing. So my husband and I made a decision to add on a sunroom to our home to put another oven and refrigerator out there just so that I could expand on my hobby, right? So this bakery now that it's becoming takes the cake, had a name. We're getting all these orders. My husband's delivering. Now I'm doing wedding cakes. I'm taking more and more classes for decorating, and it really grew. I remember making a decision at that time: is this something that I'm going to pursue, or am I going to stay comfortable with the good job? And I tell you, I remember praying, and I remember having my husband support whatever decision I make. He's okay with that because he believed in me. I made the decision that I was going to walk away from that job. And I walked into my director's office and handed her my letter of resignation. We black folks ain't writing no letters of resignation to nowhere. We just don't go back, right? We just don't go back. And so I hands her my letter of resignation because I was confident. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a business owner. I'm really going to do it. I had gone and got my license. I mean, I really took the steps to be legit. And she handed me the letter back and said, I think you should think about this. This isn't a really good decision. I see so many big things for you with this company. Let's just stay focused. And, you could bake your little cakes, on the side. And I mean, it was the most condescending conversation I had ever had. And I took my letter back. And I walked out of her office, And I did. I went back the next day. I gave it the overnight time to sleep on it like she had recommended. And I came back the next day and I said, I'll be quitting in 2 weeks. You know, you can keep the letter or I can keep the letter. It really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But that was the first time that I felt so confident. Like, this is a decision that I'm making for me and my family. If I succeed, we succeed. If I fail, we just fail. It's okay. But as entrepreneurs, that is the mindset that we have to have, that regardless if we succeed or fail, we still have succeeded because we tried. And most of us never tried.
Yep, that is you just that story alone. And we're just in the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the whole story. And there's so much in this one story alone.
But I got to hold on. I know she doing so great, man. We on Facebook Live right now, and they is loving you, Tamika. They is giving you thumbs up. They laugh. They are loving you tonight, man. So, yeah. But like you said, like the story you said, you got for entrepreneurs to be an entrepreneur, to get on this journey, to get even started. You have to make that decision. You can't be scared. Yes. You got to go out there and put 10 toes down and make it happen. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a struggle. Ask me and Gary. You can ask Tamika. You can ask any entrepreneur out here doing their thing. It's not easy, but it's well worth it. It is well worth it.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. And you know, that's something that's very interesting that you said that word. You have to make a decision. And I've talked about this before. The word decide, if you think about other words that have that suffix, "ide" in them, it means to kill. So if you think about homicide or suicide, you know what I mean? You kill something. And so for the word decide, you kill the options. You kill the alternative. So it's not until you make a decision will it even happen. You have to decide that this is it. This business that God's placed in me, this business is going to succeed. I am going to bring it to fruition, and I'm going to be successful in it.
Preaching.
Hey, this is
phone can blow up.
Yeah, this is crazy. And you are so right. I'm curious as to, now, it's crazy to me that she handed you back your letter and told you, you know what? No, just think about it. What was going through your mind when that happened?
So I had a great deal of respect for her, a great deal of respect. But what I felt in my heart was that I was just, you know, her pet. I was a good employee. You get back to work now, you hear? That's what I felt in my spirit. But on the outside, it was more or less, you're just having a moment. You know, go on back to work. Think about this. You don't really want to quit because you're doing so well here. But I had already realized that this is not something where I'm going to have true success. This is a job. They'll never give me $1 million. You know, they'll just pay me just over broke because that's what it's set up to do. So, yeah, it was a conversation that for me was kind of confirmation that it was time to go.
Like you said, too, you also had that support system back home. You know, I think having your husband in your background there that was ready to support you, whatever decision you made, definitely probably played a huge role in that decision, right?
Sure, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's so funny is that, I mean, we were like Bonnie and Kristen passed away in 2011 from thyroid cancer.
Sorry.
But
oh, man. Sorry
we had, thank you, we had each other's back. And, you know, it's a different mindset nowadays than it was back in the day. I can remember my parents telling me I was crazy to even consider walking away from my job. I mean, I would be excited. I'd be like, I got another contract for this company to do their employees' birthday cakes for the month. I got another and I was like focused on getting these contracts, right? Because my mind was corporate, and even though I was kind of hood with the bakery in the sunroom, but you know, I was conditioned for that corporate mindset. And I'm like, I got another contract, and my parents were just like, "That's nice. Make sure you get to work on time," and you know, they were not having it.
Yeah, and that's crazy because you was having such good success there, you know, and that goes to show you the difference between people who just have that entrepreneurial bug because you got to the point where you just was like, all right, this is doing good, and you had to make that decision to go. So it kind of crept up on you, that entrepreneurial bug. But as you saw that vision and where it was going, nobody else saw it. So of course everybody, all the people from the outside looking in, all they saw was this good old job. The master giving you this big old room in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's all they
saw. In the office.
You
got your desk.
Yep, you got a desk.
Yeah.
Girl, they give you bonuses every 3 times a year. But they just didn't see it. But they always say you can't be mad at other people for not seeing your vision, because it's not theirs to see.
There it is.
You just got to be strong enough to step out there on your own. And like you said, you prayed about it. So many people come on this show, and that's one of the main things we hear, is that they prayed about it.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't do that, there's no wonder you still stuck in that job when you were trying to, you don't have that support system, but truly God is the only support system you really need.
Yes, sir.
As long as you got the faith and you believe and he tells you to go.
You got to put the work in, though. When he say put the work in, you got to put the work in. But if you believe what he's telling you, and you believe in that path, and you follow his steps that he lay out for you, ain't nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
So I mean, of course, I notice now you don't have a cake business, right? So I know we'll get there. So you left your job. You told her, look, I'm gonna be gone in 2 weeks. That's just that. Did you knock something over on her desk last day?
Oh no!
No, didn't do nothing like that.
No.
Right. I just had to check.
No.
Because I know, a lot of people always be like, oh, when I leave this place, I'm kicking everything over. I'm knocking all the burgers out the bin at McDonald's when I leave here.
Boy.
And you know what? That I think is what made it even harder. Because I think when you have turmoil, it's easier to walk away, right? I didn't have that. And so it's almost like you're leaving your friends and you're leaving family. So it was a little bit more difficult. I just saw a bigger picture. I saw, a greater life. And I had to make that choice. I had to follow my heart. And that's what I think so many people go to their grave with regrets, that I had this opportunity. I had a time where I had this idea, or I had this time when I had this opportunity to make a decision to partner with someone, and I didn't. And I wish I did. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And we just got to stop with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and make a move.
It's millions sitting in the grave right now.
I hope y'all listening to it. They say the wealthiest place in the world is where? The graveyard.
The graveyard. Yeah.
Man, Tamika is talking that good today.
Yeah, she is. We knew that when she... we already said it. When she jumped on board and hit the forever ever at the end, we knew it. It was a wrap. So Tamika, look, I want to fast forward 2 more weeks, right? We fast forward 2 weeks. And that last day of that job, you woke up what I'm guessing it was your last day of Friday?
It probably was.
Okay. So
we celebrated. It was all the goodbyes. I mean, it wasn't on bad terms at all.
Okay.
But when I moved forward with my business, I'm talking about, it was truly a transition. When you work a 9-to-5 job, you clock in at 9 and you clock out at 5. Then you live your life. When you are a business owner, there is no clocking in and clocking out. And so quickly I realized this is so much more work than I had ever been accustomed to. I'm thinking, this is the good life now. No boss to answer to, no set time. I'm going to set my own schedule. What? I was so tired. It was crazy.
This is where the real work comes from.
That's where it come in. So what was going through your mind that first day you woke up after you left your job, and I know it kind of hit you that you wasn't waking up to go to work. You was waking up and you was on your own. What was going through your mind that morning?
See, it's a little different with that business because I barely woke up and went to sleep at a decent hour. I was baking and decorating cakes like all night. Like, I remember times my husband would be like, come to bed. Like, you gotta stop. This is too much. Or why are you getting up this early? Like, stay in the bed. It would just I was consumed. My father was pleading with me to hire help, and I was so stuck on every product that goes out of this house has my name on it. I don't want cakes to be lopsided. I don't want it to taste funny. I don't want stale tasting cake. You know, I just wanted everything perfect. And I worked myself, and I had the strokes when I was 27. I worked my business with Takes the Cake my entire pregnancy of my now 14-year-old. And you're talking about an operator and an owner of a bakery by myself. I had help every now and then, but it wasn't consistent. And literally after I had my daughter, and I had gained a lot of weight because I had stopped working, so I was in the house baking cakes, eating, decorating cakes, eating. I mean, it was ridiculous. And right after I had my daughter, I had that first stroke. And so I remember my dad saying to me in the hospital, like, you have been stressed out and you have overworked yourself so much to the point that now this is the result. And so I never went back to baking cakes after that. First of all, I was in rehabilitation. I had to learn how to walk again, tie my shoestrings again, everything. The whole left side of my body was paralyzed for months. And so it was a total process of revamping my life. And so that first business, that's what got me out of corporate America, but that is not where my purpose was in the least bit. I am truly living and walking in my purpose now with helping people change their lifestyle to prevent heart disease.
Which you had to go through that stuff to get here. You know,
Right.
You would have never had.
Isn't that crazy?
You had to go through that stuff, right? So
to some crazy places to get you where he needs you.
And you know what's crazy though?
Crazy.
Is that you actually, you know, after all that, you're still an entrepreneur now and everything. That didn't deter you. That didn't make you just give it all up because you worked yourself to almost to death. I mean, I'm assuming you was pretty young when that happened. I mean, I'm not asking you how old you are.
27. I was 27 years old. And so for the folks in their 20s that think like I thought that I'm invincible, I'm in my 20s, I'm in the prime of my life, you know, the face of stroke doesn't look like our grandmothers anymore. I was a 27-year-old business owner, home owner, wife, and mom, and had a stroke.
Man.
That was probably tough time.
Yeah,
tough
it was. Yeah, it was. But, you know, one thing you definitely learned, too, through that is, you know, I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through it, you know, that when you're building something of your own, this is your baby. This is your business. And like you said, the way you thought was every cake to go out of this door is me. Like, this is, you know, I don't want it to be messed up or something. And I think that is one of the hardest things as an entrepreneur to get over, is to hand the reins over a little bit and allow someone else to do something. You know, because the slightest thing, you're like, oh, man, you just stapled the paper in the wrong place.
and you'll lose it over a little staple, too.
Yeah, you know, 'cause you're so used to being so right and so the way you want it. You know?
Perfect.
But
Excellence. We strive for excellence.
to make sure that type of thing doesn't happen, of course, like you said, you got to take care of yourself. But then you also know you have to start to hand stuff over, because just that amount of stress and work you put on yourself. I mean, like you're a wife, a mother, a business owner, a homeowner. So which means you had to take care of the home, had to take care of your husband, had to take care of your children, had to spend time with everyone. You know, and then at the same time do everything in the business yourself. When you were pumping out cakes like that too.
What? Yeah.
I gotta ask a question about the stroke times. Do you think your diet played a major role in the stroke?
It did, and I'm an advocate for the American Heart Association. So, you know, we lobby Congress to make changes to make sure that the inner cities have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nutrition training, and education. Because what they have found through various studies is that heart disease is directly related to nutrition. And so if you think about someone who eats fast food, processed food, canned food, all these quick things on a regular basis, they are more likely to have heart disease than people who eat fresh fruits and fresh vegetables and, you know, foods made with fresh ingredients. And so I was not eating healthy, and that had been a major part of my life. I grew up in North Philly, and so we had more convenience stores than we had supermarkets, obviously.
Philly cheesesteaks.
And there you go. And so when you talk about making healthy food choices, you really have to go deeper and discuss what access that we have to healthy food choices. And so if you grow up in a community where what you have access to is processed, is fried, is, unhealthy, then that's what you're going to choose because that's what you are used to. And so, yeah, my eating habits were not the best. And I'm not going to just say I had high blood pressure, because high blood pressure isn't what kills you. I had uncontrolled high blood pressure. And so even though I had been diagnosed, even though I had been prescribed high blood pressure medication, I was not taking the medication on a regular basis. Remember, I was 27. I was invincible. And so, I had the medication, but every checkup, my blood pressure was still high. And so I think that we just need, especially as a people, because more people die from heart disease who look like us than any other ethnicity. And that says a lot. That says a lot about education, and that says a lot about nutrition in our communities.
Yeah, that sure enough does. That sure enough does. And you know what? The funny thing probably is too, though, is that you baked all those cakes, and you probably wasn't even a big cake eater, were you? That probably wasn't even something that contributed to the problem a whole lot, was it?
So this might be a little bit embarrassing, but I was an everything eater.
Okay. Okay.
I was on a seafood diet back then. It was whatever food I saw, I just ate. I didn't discriminate. I cooked. People be like, how are y'all married for 14 years, together for 16 years in this day and age? Because I cooked. Y'all hear me? I cooked and I ate.
So do you still eat cakes?
I don't really eat sweets too much. And when I do, I'm so disciplined at this point. I can eat a fork full of last night we went to a restaurant in Virginia Beach, and I ate a fork full of cheesecake and then was like, okay, I've had enough. I'm okay with throwing food in the trash at this point just because of where I am and my healthy lifestyle changed. But back then, I wasn't wasting any food. You're not going to eat that? I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, I love my cake. Especially when you start out talking about you cook cakes like that. I was like, oh, hold on. I know how to get me a cake. I love it. You can ask my wife. Everybody that knows me knows. They always make fun of me like, oh, yeah, we know you're going to eat the cake. You know you're going to want a piece of cake. I'm like, dang. But then the other hand, they always be like, oh, Gary he want to eat healthy stuff and whatever. But don't let no cake be around.
So Tamika, we done talked about your past, the cakes and the strokes and how you overcame that. Update us, bring us to speed a little bit on what you got going on now with Fat to Glam. Is it? I said it right?
Fat Girl to Glam Girl.
Fat Girl to Glam Girl, and the other things you got going on, and we can talk about those entrepreneurial ventures.
Sure. And so with Fat Girl to Glam Girl, I just want to let everyone know what GLAM stands for is giving life and motivation. And so, I talk to folks. I talk to young middle school and high school age girls about going from a fat girl to a glam girl and what that means to be a glam girl. And it's so crazy because one school in particular that I've spoken to on a regular basis all this past school year is up in Richmond. And the girls literally, they'll walk down the hall and they'll be like, hey, Miss Quinn, hey, glam girl, I'm a glam girl. And I mean, they are so proud just to say that they are a glam girl. And I love it because that means that they have taken on the responsibility of giving life and motivation to other girls, to encourage other girls that regardless of where you are today, you are beautiful, you matter, and we are not going to stand for bullying. So, I love that God has me in this place, because there's never been a time that I can remember that I felt so rewarding in what I'm doing and what I'm giving back to the community. It had to have been, I'm going to say like maybe 5 years ago. I spoke with a friend of mine who we went to school together, who was literally saying to me, and I was offended. He was saying to me, you know, you're doing really well. You speaking to people all over the country. And at the time, I wasn't talking about weight. I wasn't talking about weight loss or anything nutrition-wise. I was literally with a network marketing company and doing very well with that company. And they would send me to speak in different states. And so he said, you're doing very well, but what are you really doing? Are you operating in your purpose? And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you coming at me like this? And he really had an attitude. And I'm like thinking, dude, I haven't talked to you in years. Like, why are you so mad? But he said, this is a waste. You know, you have this platform and you're not using it to glorify God. And he was like, you know, you're not bringing people to God and you're not even operating in your purpose. And I said, well, you know, you don't know me like that. And it was like a negative way we got off the telephone. But for days, it stuck with me. It was like a pain in my side. I was like, what was he talking about? What purpose? You know, it kind of just really bothered me. Mm-hmm. And so I remember calling him back, and I was like, I had to really humble myself. Because, you know, when you are offended by something that someone says, you don't even want to deal with that person. And the devil will keep putting the stuff that's so silly up in your ear, like, oh, he said this, he disrespected you. You don't need him. You know, and I'm so thankful that I didn't allow the devil to keep me from really what God had me to have. And so I called him back, and I was like, you know, you didn't have to come at me like that, but what do you mean? Like, how do I even find out what my purpose is? Like, what did you mean by that? And he was like, you don't know what your purpose is? I said, obviously not. You know, I'm calling you back. And so he said, your purpose, and I want y'all to get this. Oh, yeah, I'm from North Philly. He said, your purpose is that thing that you can do in your sleep. Nobody has to coach you through it. Nobody has to ask you twice. You don't have to think about it. You just are that. You do that. You have become that. It's the thing that you think about all day long that, you know, if you had to write out a formula for it, you could do it with the snap of your fingers. It's that thing that's in you, that's in nobody else. That's your purpose. That's that thing that speaks to you. It's yours. And so I responded. I was just like, oh, okay. All right. Because at the time, I still didn't know. I really had no clue. And I'm an adult. I'm a mom. And it was really embarrassing that I didn't know. I got off the phone and I prayed. It was nothing else that I could do but pray. He couldn't give it to me, you know. My family couldn't give it to me. Only God could show me what my purpose was. And so I prayed to God. I prayed to God for days to just show me what my purpose was. And I remember one day I was in the shower and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like the thing that nobody has to teach me how to do, that, you know, is just mine, is working with girls. I went to an all-girls high school. If I walked up on a group of girls, you know, at the YMCA or in the supermarket, I would talk to girls just because I identified with young girls. And so I remember thinking, maybe that's because I have daughters. And then I'm like, no, that's what it is. And from that birthed my business, Pink Carpet Glam Girl. I had thought about something for birthday parties for my daughters long before that, but it wasn't until really praying about what my purpose was that it even came to me. And so not even a week after that, Pink Carpet Glam Girl was birthed. I went into full out, this is what it is. I'm going to mentor girls. I'm going to give back. I'm going to have this outlet for birthday parties for girls. And it came from someone who I don't even talk to on a regular basis, but who God used to really spark that and invoke me to pray about tapping into my purpose.
And that's funny. See, that's how it works. God brings somebody and just drop them right in front of you, out of nowhere at that, you know.
Yeah, Gary, tell me how
it happened.
That's exactly how me and Gary connected, on the whim.
Yeah, it really was. It was so
Oh,
random.
wow.
It was so random. I mean, we had met. I mean, we had already met and knew each other, you know what I'm saying, through my wife. But
Right.
it just so happened that when we reconnected, we were both two completely different people, both basically on the same path. And it just was like, oh, hold on. Look like now's the time to make it happen. We ready to go, you know. But so at this time, right, when you started this up, was this the first of the three you have going on now?
Pink Carpet Glam Girl was the first.
Okay, so that was the first. So you started doing that, started working that. I mean, how did that go for you starting out? I mean, did it start out slow?
I mean, I had some learning curves. It didn't start out slow because, you know, I've known enough about marketing. And so, no, I can't say it started out slow. It actually started out well. But I had some learning experiences. Like, in my mind, I just figured, oh, the summertime is when it's going to boom. And so we'll have more employees in the summertime. And, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you kind of dictate when you save, when you spend. And so I had it all backwards. It really is during the school time that you are booming, because little did I know, parents pull children who are guests of birthday parties from their classrooms. And so here I am thinking, I'll just spend frivolously during the school year, and the summertime it's going to be like, boom. It was a total opposite. And so my first year, I'm like, where all the people at? Why y'all not booking parties? And everybody's on vacation. And I was like, wow, who would have thought? So, you know, you go through the learning experiences as a business owner, because it's not like I had other spa owners schooling me. And that's why I really love network marketing, because the business model is already there and you don't have to reinvent the wheel or figure it out. It's already figured out for you. But for me and my Pink Carpet Glam Girl spa business, oh, I figured everything out.
Yeah, which is like it is with most businesses, them growing pains. You got to make them mistakes, to figure out what works, what don't work, and then just as long as you're smart enough to grab onto those things that work and keep doing them over and over and over again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So look, we know about the growing pains.
Oh yeah. You're going through something.
And so one thing that I can recommend for every business owner is that you keep a journal. And I know it's a little bit hard, you know, if you're not in the habit already of journaling, but what that does for you, what it did for me, I saw month to month what I was doing in terms of what inventory I was ordering, you know, where I was marketing. I did a huge campaign through Groupon, and quite a learning experience. And so you get to see what you're investing your money in and what your return is. And so right now, we're in the month of July. I can look back through my journaling, and I'm not even talking about like my invoices or anything, but just look back through my journaling to see where my mindset was in July of last year, where I was spending most of my money at. Where was I spending most of my time? Was I investing in networking opportunities? And then what my return was. So if my returns were huge, I can always look back and see what was my work, what was my to get the return. When things are slipping, I can look at the transition and see, oh, I wasn't making enough calls. Oh, I wasn't sending out enough thank you cards. You know, you can track your own progress through journaling.
That's cool. It's good to be aware of what's going on in your everyday life, because it will pass you over because you got so many other things going on. But if you put it in a tangible space, you can come back and look at it and say, okay, I got you. I got it now. So that's a good idea. We had to take your advice on that one. Good thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the other day. I need to start writing stuff down. But like you said, it's difficult when you're not in like the habit of doing that. You know what I'm saying? So trying to throw it in there and keep doing it and stay consistent with it. But like I'm at to force myself to start doing that. That's for sure. So I mean, what year was that you start the spa?
2012.
2012. Oh, okay. And it is 2016, still going strong.
Still going strong. We have made quite a few changes, and I think that that's important, to move with the cheese. And so if you see something is not working, don't stick with that. And if you see something is working, do more of that. We added a van, the Glam van, and I made quite an investment to get a van completely wrapped, and it's beautiful on the outside, and the inside is pink. And so the Glam van kind of allowed us to not just be a spa, brick and mortar, but to allow us to do mobile spa parties too, to come out to where folks are and have transportation. And so we have just kind of evolved into a full service spa.
That sounds very creative, because I know, me personally as a male, I'd never thought about taking a spa on the wheels. Somebody else.
Nope.
You were event, so.
Nope, not at all.
How did you come up with that aspect of it, or was it just part of the growth of the company?
I just studied the industry, and I was watching the trends and seeing, not just locally, but across the nation, especially in major cities, this is what the trend was, and just, mirror those similar business models. And I get asked on a regular basis, are you a franchise? Is there other Pink Carpet Glam Girls? I'm like, no, it's just me. This is my baby. I founded Pink Carpet Glam Girl, and we have just truly looked at what's out there and always tried to do better, always tried to do more. And so I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that's what you want your mindset to be. You don't want to be like Joe. You want to be better than Joe. You want to offer more so that people get more bang for their buck, and they'll keep coming back to you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it's all about.
I hope you listening. She obviously got her business, she do her own thing, but she's still putting in the work after hours, doing that market research, understanding what she is, finding her uniqueness and giving it to the people, because like you just said, if you're better than Joe, they're gonna come back regardless.
So which means you need to be on a mission to take over the world. That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Take over everything. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, you don't want to be just like Joe. You want to be better.
Right.
I told somebody I was playing ball when I was younger, about 19 or something. I was setting out to change the world. He said, "You can't do that. I change the world every day now."
Yes.
Literally. So tell me I can't do something again. Watch me show you what's up. You got me fired up over here. You got me fired up. I'm ready to go to work right now. Actually,
and then you know what, Arthur, too? I'm noticing she already said people starting to ask her about them franchises. I think we got on the ground floor right here.
Hey, now.
To interview Tamika Quinn first, Pink Carpet Glam Girl, the franchise, the biggest spa franchise in the United States. As a matter of fact, in the country. You had them little French girls over there getting their spa on too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
oui.
It's so crazy, man. Tamika, you are so inspiring and so motivational, man. Like I said, I want to get to work. Like I'm not working right now. We need people like you. We need inspirational women out there making it happen. I know there's a lot of them out there, but I'm pretty sure you can bring some more to us, because we just want to give them all exposure and share them with our community, man. What you're doing is magnificent.
Mm-hmm. I already shared now,
Thank
too.
you so
much. All the other parents we know we got little girls. Oh, yeah, this is going to be, this is crazy. I like it. I'm
definitely going to send your way, because they a handful for me, and I can't do nothing but help me.
And then so this came about in 2012, and now you said, okay, no, this came from you realizing your passion, working with little girls, right?
Yeah.
So where did Fat Girl to Glam Girl come in at?
So, all right, I joined the company Total Life Changes as a franchise owner, and during that time, I was transitioning, trying to lose weight, and so was my daughter, who had been bullied in school. And a lot of the times during our motivational talks through Pink Carpet Glam Girl, she would talk to the kids, the younger kids, about what she went through and why she was bullied, and, her being overweight, and she changed her eating habits. And the crazy thing, my daughter at 8 years old was diagnosed with high cholesterol.
Wow.
And I don't even think that we would have known, because it's not like a test that's done. You think about an 8-year-old. I don't know how old your children are, but an 8-year-old is not getting a test for cholesterol done, blood test. And so I had seen something that was talking about if you have this dark ring on the back of your neck, that is an indicator of diabetes. And so my daughter is 8 years old. She's really overweight. It's difficult for me as a mom to even find clothes that fit her because of her height and the circumference of her belly. It just wasn't working. So I would be safety pinning pants up, and, you know, we had to get this wide waist. I didn't know as a mom where to shop for her. It was just so hard. And so I noticed this dark ring on the back of her neck, and in my mind, I'm like, this better not be diabetes. So literally, I got my baby in the tub, and I'm scrubbing her neck so hard. She crying, and I'm like, this got to come off because I just don't want this to be anything that's in your skin. And so she's like, you're hurting me, you're hurting me. Literally, the next couple of days, I took her to the doctor because it just refused to come out, and I was stressed out thinking the worst. They did a bunch of tests, and the dark ring could have been anything. It wasn't diabetes, thank God. However, she had high cholesterol, and it was so high that they referred her to a pediatric cardiologist. Like, they're telling me her cholesterol is really high, and this is the range where she could have a stroke. And because of my previous history of having a stroke, it was like a serious thing. And so we go see this cardiologist, and you talking about totally scared. It was fear beyond fear. And I think I was more fearful at that time dealing with my daughter than I was even dealing with my own self. Because this is my baby. And as parents, we're used to fixing the problem. But here I was helpless. I couldn't fix this problem. And so the doctor said, we're going to give her this medication. This is going to bring down her cholesterol. She has to take it. And so I'm Googling the medication, and my husband's looking at me like he's waiting on my response. And I said, oh, no, this is called a statin. That's bad. And I see here that some of the side effects is she won't be able to have kids, and it will give her all kinds of other problems. So the cardiologist said, but, oh, it was horrible. He said, but if we don't give her this medication, the odds of her having a stroke or a heart attack are extremely high. I said, but God, what is the alternative to the medication? He said, well, the only alternative is diet and exercise, but we wouldn't expect an 8-year-old to make that kind of a change. And so I suggest you put her on the medication. I put my head down. I started praying. We in the doctor's office. We have CHKD cardiology. I put my head down. I started praying. I grabbed her hand, grabbed my husband's hand. I was just like, I just rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. I'm not receiving that report from this doctor. If you're telling me that the alternative is diet and exercise, and if she loses weight and gets her diet under control, so what? She's 8 years old. We could beat this. We're going to go with those odds.
Yeah,
and
every
so
day.
He leaves out the room, and he comes back with a second cardiologist to try to convince us that the medication was the best bet. And I said, we'll take the follow-up appointment, and, you know, we'll just go with the diet and exercise. So I got a nutritionist through CHKD. We got enrolled in a program called Healthy You. And for any parent on this line listening to this podcast who has children, who has nieces and nephews, who have cousins who are struggling with weight, through CHKD Hospital, there is a program called Healthy You. I don't know why it's not on commercials. I don't know why it's not advertised on the walls in the school offices. But this program will give your family a membership to the Y. It will give your family, not just the child, but your family, nutrition classes. Will give you one-on-one appointments with specialty doctors to get to the bottom of whatever your child's issue is, because eating is a result of other issues. You know, kids and even adults don't just eat for no reason. There are psychological reasons why we turn to food. I gained the most weight in my life after my husband passed away. And so they get to the bottom of why these children are eating the way they're eating, and they give them concrete ways to change their eating habits. I'm telling you, I learned so much through that program. And this is why, I've shifted from not just doing my spa, but also to saving these kids' lives with the Fat Girl to Glam Girl program. And so we talk in schools and to groups of children, whether it be through Girl Scouts or Boys and Girls Club, about changing your eating habits and about how we can eat to live versus living just to eat.
That is, we both stuck. We don't. It's like it's so much to say.
It is. It's so amazing how you were just being an entrepreneur, and now you are out here, like I said, changing the world every day. Mm-hmm. You're changing lives by simple things, though.
It's so needed.
Cut out. And only because you had the time to go to CHKD, because you cared enough about your daughter's health. You cared enough about your family's health that you're going to say, "This is not going to be us. We're gonna take control of this thing."
But you cared enough, and a lot of people care enough. But what they do is they take that doctor's first word and they just jump on medicine. You know what I'm saying? They just jump on the medicine, and they don't realize that. I mean, we've said it before. We've said it with Deron. We've said it in our own conversations. Me and Arthur all the time, and listen to other stuff. It's another podcast, the Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. He talks about it all the time. Honestly, eating right and working out can almost fix almost anything with your body.
Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
God didn't make medicine. He made natural medicines. Right. He made all these plants and fruits and vegetables.
I got my lemon balm tea over here.
He made all of it. And they weren't they wasn't having outbreaks of cancer like crazy and heart disease and stuff. Like, granted, I know some of them got it. Them Richard Kings and stuff was eating crazy stuff and all fat. But but it's crazy, like you said. Like, this CHKD Healthy You program isn't mainstream. Nobody knows about it. You had to actually seek it like crazy to go find it. But one thing I'm hearing is ringing that just in regular life and just in entrepreneurship in general. And one thing that I found out so long ago is to research, man. Yes, people do not do that enough, and they don't realize, especially now. This is 2016. You know what I'm saying? This is the daggone, the digital age. The internet is everywhere. You're at your fingertips on your phone and everything. They don't research things. And you two knew from just right there to research this medicine. Researching this medicine, not only it saved your child's life, and granted, the medicine might have helped with a little bit cholesterol, right? But it would have saved your child's life in that aspect, but it would have hurt down the road. And that saved your child from not being able to have kids, you know what I'm saying, and all the other side effects that went along with it. And it's really as simple as taking the time and initiative to research. Like, come on, just in your life, in your businesses, and everything that you're looking to do.
I was about to say that too, man. Even being an entrepreneur, you gotta do your market research. Even with your health, you gotta do the market research. Somebody on Facebook Live post said, "Prescription equals profit." That's what they're pushing for, man.
Exactly. Which is why the Healthy You program is hard to find, and you can't find it anymore because the first thing they want to do is shove medicine down your throat that you gotta pay for.
Miss Tamika Q. You know about it now, and you better tell all your friends, your mom and dad, this is the cousin, nieces, nephews, uncle, all your extended family members over in across the diaspora. I like that word. What's up? CHK Healthy You.
And I must say, this story, your story here, Tamika, is so motivating. This is like we've had some good people on the show. You know what I'm saying? Some great stories on the show. I said, this one here is definitely top notch.
She's setting that bar.
Definitely
that ain't nothing but God. I appreciate that.
The things that you've gone through, things you overcame. You know what I'm saying? And your child, the one who went through this, is this the one you had with you at the 7 a.m. premiere? Well,
yes.
See, you would have never known. You would never know. And then just hearing the story, you're just like, man, what they done gone through. And then to be where you are and helping so many people is crazy. That's how you know you had found, like you said, your purpose.
Your purpose changed life. Purpose changed life.
It's power in your purpose. There it is.
Yes.
Power in your purpose.
I just think about, it's so many people who, they have children in similar situations. And I thank God that I had the time, like you were saying, if I wasn't an entrepreneur, would I have had the time to go to all these different doctor's appointments? Would I have had the time to put in, because once it was twice a week you had to commit to, and if you missed so many, you just got kicked out of the program. So once a week you're going to group exercise classes, and then once a week you're in classroom type classes, trainings with these other families and your kids. And so you're talking about a lot of time, I think over a 6 or 8 week time period to get all this stuff and do homework and get all these modules done. But it's to better yourself and to really save your child. And so I just think about all the parents who don't have that kind of time, who don't have the resources to get back and forth to downtown Norfolk. Maybe if they live in Chesapeake or, Suffolk, to even go to downtown Norfolk twice a week. And so for me, I got it, and I'm going to give it back to whoever is ready to receive the information, because we got to save our kids, and it takes a village.
Yep. And, you said something that just hit home. I mean, one of the main reasons a lot of people become entrepreneurs is creating the lifestyle, that freedom. Like so many people that come on the show and say, is having that freedom, is what this is all about.
So, I told you earlier we was on Facebook Live, and I asked the people to ask a question if they had one, and I did get a question for you. So, somebody asked, who he asked, is it hard to have multiple businesses at the same time?
That's not what he asked.
That's what he asked. I made him retype it. That's exactly what he asked. Gary, don't do it.
I'm not going to say that it's easy in the least bit. It isn't impossible, obviously, but I just believe that anything, that is hard is worth working for if the results are what you want. And so for me, it just takes focus. And if you are strategic and operating multiple businesses, as long as they're really achieving the same goal, you'll be fine. Just remember, I think he is a saying that I heard years ago, and it still rings true. You can't serve two gods. And so what does that mean in business? I can't sell cars and also bake cakes. It's two different industries. It doesn't go together. It doesn't mesh well. But if I'm selling cars and I'm also renting bicycles, it might not be as difficult as the first example would be, because they're kind of along the same lines. And so I think if the goal is similar, it won't be as hard as you think it is.
So I have to recant my kingness. I am the king. I am a man. I will admit when I'm a jerk. he said, is it bad to have most businesses at the same time?
Which she answered, actually.
She did answer, though. So it's the same. Me and Gary both have multiple businesses, and Tamika has multiple businesses. Matter of fact, almost all our guests have had multiple businesses. No.
He talking about juggling them all at the same time, which she said, which makes sense.
Right.
If they're same, they serve for the common goal, then yeah, it could work out. Which mine's don't actually. Mine
kind of don't.
Yours kind of do. Mine's kind of don't like it.
I do serve on both things. So, yeah.
I mean, that's okay if you have, skills where you can manage. And or if you have straight up employees where it's not just you trying to do everything. Think about the big moguls now. Oprah has her hand in a lot of stuff. Diddy has his hand in a lot of stuff, But if you're operating in a true business model, you can have employees and not necessarily be hands-on.
So I guess she did answer that question, huh?
Yep, she answered it very, very well. And then extended it out right there, too. Yeah. So what's next?
You want your money putting on overalls at night and going to work while you sleep. That's the bottom line as an entrepreneur. You just don't want to be chasing the money. You want the money working for you. You want the money sweating, the money, doing all the work. And so if you have set up systems, and that's the key, systems, saving yourself time, energy, and money. If you've set up systems for multiple businesses to operate effectively without you being hands-on, you're going to have success. It don't matter if it's in the same industry or not. But with us, most people just getting started, we don't have those systems set up, and we are our operator and owner at the same time. And so just always be mindful of that. Work smart, not hard.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. All about. Have you read the E-Myth, a book called The E-Myth?
What's it called?
The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
No, but I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, that's a book that talks exactly about that. Setting up systems and processes so that you can bring people in and run the systems and processes for you, so that way you can actually work on your business and not too easy working in it,
I'm going to tag you when I get it, because I most certainly will.
So, and with that right there, I think we're going to take it and ask you, do you read the books to keep your entrepreneurial mind sharp?
Oh, absolutely. And it's crazy because I'm always reading either books or listening to audios. My kids get so sick and tired of me because I think sometimes in the car the music just irritates me, and so I much rather just listen to something that's going to be growing me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I will tell you that I have been studying John C. Maxwell because I'm about to start his program to get certified as a John C. Maxwell speaker and trainer. And I'm telling you, this is probably the most exciting thing in my career thus far, because I just look at it like this is something that I'm going to be able to set my people free. And so you talking about giving back on a whole nother level. I'm just excited.
So you're definitely going to want to talk to
Yes,
Keisha McKnight on Saturday.
If you haven't heard her episode, listen to her episode. She talks about that a whole lot in the episode. And when you come on Saturday, we'll definitely make sure you guys get to connect, because she's already doing that.
Well, yeah, and, she's already got.
Who was that?
Lakeisha McKnight.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She's one of the speakers on Saturday, and we just dropped her episode on the podcast.
Like 2 days ago.
Yesterday?
Today Wednesday. Yesterday.
Yep, yesterday. So she talks about that and talk about how she was drawn basically to him and his program and all kind of stuff. Yeah. Right. Which, of course, a lot of people have heard of John Maxwell. I've heard of him, heard of the books and everything like that. So, yeah. But, yeah, you definitely want to talk to her because she's already done the course and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we'll make sure that connection gets made.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, I'm excited.
Yay. So, now you So, can you share the link for your, what is that, the radio show you do on Saturday mornings?
Sure. It is www.hiphophighlights.com. Okay. And the name of the show is Talk is Cheap. And you just click on it, and you can listen live from anywhere.
All right.
But we also do a Facebook Live from my page, Tamika Quinn, Tamika with an I, Quinn, on Saturday morning, so you can also see the Facebook Live as well.
Okay. I'm kind of new to this Facebook Live thing with the podcast. It's kind of interesting to hold two conversations. Talk to them and pay attention to you and engage on the podcast, but I make it work. I'm the king, right? I do what I got to do. Yeah, I toot my own home. Look.
yeah, you do, boy. I tell you, goodness gracious.
I would be totally remiss without giving a shout out to my team. My organization is phenomenal, and we have folks not just here in Virginia, but all across the United States, from Philly all the way over to Florida, Chicago, California, even Jamaica and the UK. And so I would not have been able to walk across the stage at our national TLC event in Atlanta without all the work that my team has done. And so shout out to the team, Dream Keepers family. You guys rock. And I'm just excited about where we are heading. And I also want to talk just really quickly about how the Total Life Changes products have really changed my life. Now, I have gone from a size 16 all the way down to a size 6. Since I've been with Total Life since I was a 12 and came down to a size 6. But that in itself is huge because for most people, when you think about diets and any type of weight loss journey, you might lose a size or two and then gain it back. And my first 30 days within Total Life Changes, I lost 17 pounds. And for me, I had never lost that much weight so fast, ever. And I was the heaviest cheerleader on the squad. I've always struggled with weight my whole life. And so for me, this was the first time that I had found something natural that wasn't going to hurt me, that I actually had real results from. On top of that, it wasn't just the weight loss. My skin cleared up. I was able to have a regular bathroom moment that I had never had before. So just being regular was something that stuck out to me the most. For me to go from a size 12, since I've been with Total Life Changes, to a size 6, means that my blood pressure also went down. And we don't make any medical claims, but for my own personal testimony, I know what my numbers have gone from, and they have definitely gone down, and it's a direct result of me losing weight. And so I just encourage anyone who's looking for more information, check out my website. It's fatgirl2glamgirl.com, and you can get some more information there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I guess we were going to ask you how can the people get in touch with you. But before we do that, get any more questions for Gary before I go get the final question?
She done dropped it all, man. I'm pretty sure she got more to give.
I know she do, so
I'm pretty sure she do.
We probably have her speaking the next conference, huh?
We're going to have her speaking at
somewhere, huh? We're going to put you to work, Tamika. Don't worry about it.
I know y'all got me. It's all good.
Yeah. So, do you have any parting words for our audience today?
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
Well, how you can reach me, of course, is fatgirl2glamgirl.com or 757-905-PINK, and that's PINK or 7465. But parting words, let's see here. I just want to tell you all that no matter where you are in life, no matter if, you can't see how you'll be able to become an entrepreneur or grow your business or get to that next level. I was started out in this life as a teen mom. I lived in North Philly. And so if you're not from Philly and you have no concept of what that means, that's the jungle. That's a real life jungle. I walked through my high school doors with metal detectors, like how you walk through the airport. We had metal detectors to walk through. Why? Because they would find Uzis and AK-47s and 9mm Glocks in people's lockers. And so I grew up in an environment that was not conducive for success. However, I had become successful. Why? Because my mindset was always on success, no matter what my circumstances were. And so I found mentors. I found people who I wanted to live like they lived. My grandmother cleaned houses for white folks. I would go with my grandmother to work and look at these homes and look at this lifestyle that these folks had. And I knew from an early age this was the life that I wanted. I knew it. And so find someone who has what you have and mirror exactly what they've done to get it. And you will have it. There's no other choice. That's law. If you do what they've done, you'll get what they've got. But if you continue doing the same things that you're doing, you're going to continue to get the same things that you've always got. And so step out on faith. Decide what it is that you want and then go after it. Don't let anything distract you. Don't let anything deter you from your plan. Make that plan and stick to it. And I just expect to see you all over the top.
Message.
What?
Message.
We can't keep going flying too long because my phone get hot in my hand. I can't even hold it no more.
Yeah, boy.
Man,
she be going.
I know them girls be at school be fired up.
Killing it, man. Boy, you gotta come and see my kids, man, because you gotta come get these little girls, man, because they running me ragged. They trying to kill me, Tamika. You gotta help me.
Yeah, I want to come see him.
I'm gonna invite you out one of these days, real soon, man. So, and people, you get mad thumbs up, most definitely on Facebook Live. So we got a couple hands up, prayer hands, and so yeah, they like you, they like you a lot, man. They really appreciate your message. We really appreciate your message because every time we talk to a guest, Gary Teller, we learn something new about us, about ourselves, about what we want to do, something to implement in our everyday routine, like we learned about the journal that we should be writing down and keeping track of. So. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your words of wisdom, your nuggets, your Jews, and continue to be great. That's what I need you to do. I need you to continue to be great.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to taking some notes at Georgia. That's what it's all about.
That is sharing information and being better and building this community, man. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
All right, Tamika. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you. All right.